Absolutely, but her bugaboo is too many walks.
Haley Johnson pitching against the most powerful opponent she's faced this year. She's been used in relief most of the time against some of the non-conference competition for the most part. So a big moment in the development of Haley Johnson for LSU.
She did a great job coming in relief. She can be dominating and strong. As I said, she led the team in the fall with strikeouts, but she also led the team in base on balls.
This is her 7th start. She's had a couple of complete games. It's her 11th appearance overall. 26 walks in 41 innings. 30 strikeouts. Hits have been hard to come by off of Haley Johnson. She's only allowed 23 hits in 41 innings. The opponents are batting 161 against her. When she throws strikes, she can be effective.
Well, the pitching staff for LSU is very impressive. An ERA of 2 combined.
That one is way upstairs on Dallas Goodnight. Hitting .304. 1 home run, 13 driven in. The 2-2 pitch. Misses downstairs.
See a change up there. She just missed with a rise ball way out of the zone. Comes back with a changeup. Haley is from Alabama. Class A state pitcher of the year.
That's a foul ball, and we'll do it again as Goodnight will return to the plate.
And Beth Torina is saying that ball hit her outside of the box. I don't know if we can see that.
Let's take another look at this. Did the ball strike the batter when she was outside of the batter's box? No.
No. Came off her knee. Well, that gets the crowd into it right away.
So Alex Leap, the plate umpire, made the correct call. That ball clearly struck the batter in the batter's box, rendering it foul and dead immediately.
And I think he did ask for help from Blue at third base, and they were correct.
3-2 pitch downstairs off the mark, and an early walk puts Goodnight at first. Allie Kilponen did not walk a batter in the first game and nearly shut out Georgia. She was carrying a 6-inning shutout before the home run in the 7th. But Kilponen's best effort of the year.
Oh, that's 2 weekends in a row that Allie Kilponen has looked like the all-SEC player from last year, and she's off and running, and the throw is not there.
Goodnight swipes second base. That's her 19th steal in 20 attempts this year.
And we have Newland back behind the plate. It's a hard ball for her to handle.
It's Coffey and Pleasance on the left side of the diamond defensively. Petty and Gutierrez on the right side of the infield. Stewart and Briggs and Rudity are the outfielders from left to right in the pasture. And Newland is catching. The pitch from Haley Johnson is off the mark. Yvette, I don't have privy to Beth Torina's thinking right now, but I suspect it'll be a fairly short outing if Haley Johnson's problem redevelops in this game. And that problem, of course, we've talked about her inability at times to throw enough strikes.
Well, it's just learning how to pitch on this level, but I think you're right. I think that she might, who knows, she might go with the Johnny Wholesale staff approach. It worked against Oklahoma. She said she wouldn't hesitate to use it this weekend also.
This ball is sent into left field and brought back quickly from Stewart. And Sarah Mosley pushes Goodnight to third base. So a start at first and third base runners for the Georgia Bulldogs.
Tiger bullpen's already up and starting to throw.
This Georgia team, one of the most powerful offensively in the SEC and in the country, ranked at or near the top in a lot of offensive categories across the league.
Well, they have 70, well, I guess it's 80 now, 80 home runs, and second place is not close.
A strike to Jada Kearney. Coming into today's play, Georgia led the SEC in slugging percentage, in triples and home runs, and in total bases. Really remarkable offensive performance. The 0-1 pitch to Kearney. Off the mark. That levels the count at 1.
The changeup's just been a little bit too low. Just got to get it there.
Ailey Johnson pitched in relief on Friday night in the first game of the series and was very good.
She looked tremendous.
She went 3 innings, allowed just the 1 hit. And not in time for Newland to scramble back to apply the tag. And so Georgia, which didn't score in the first 6 innings of the previous game, picks up 1 here in the first. This pitch just got away, way upstairs out of the reach of Allie Newland.
Newland didn't have a chance.
So the wild pitch pushes Goodnight in from third base. Kearney has a teammate at second. Johnson on Friday walked a couple in 3 innings, struck out 1, allowed only 1 base hit, and was very, very efficient. No runs in 3 innings. Three and 1 on Kearney. First base is open. The pitch popped up and perhaps playable in foul ground. Gutierrez backs up and drifts to her left.
It's a big out for
the
Johnson.
First out.
That's a big out for Johnson.
The wind, as it did in the first game, is blowing briskly in from center field. It's going to impede the flight of the ball from most hitters.
We've talked about how the Bulldogs love to hit home runs, but this park's a little bit different.
Here's Lindy Ray Davis.
Especially today, like you just said, the wind's blowing in. Good changeup, and she's finally landed that pitch there, got it there. It's a little bit more oomph with those legs.
Davis is a sophomore from Calhoun, Georgia.
She's been impressive behind the plate, and I like her swing.
She waves at that one. It was upstairs.
Got fooled on that rise ball.
Davis is hitting .354. She's been mostly an everyday starter. And she lobs this one up in the air behind second base. Carly Petty is calling for it, and that's the second out. So Mosley remains at second with 2 outs. And it brings on Sydney Kuma. Kuma made things very interesting in the first game with a 7th inning home run, which pulled Georgia to within 1 run.
The freak athlete who struck out, what was it, 4 times straight in this series after only coming in with 6, had a base hit and then a home run. So talk about a positive attitude to just keep swinging the bat.
She's been good at the plate all year. Hitting .391. And let's go back and look at her 7th inning home run in the previous game.
Just out of the reach of Briggs, but nonetheless, a home run to the deepest part of the field.
It's 220 feet out there. This park is bigger than it has to be. The 0-2 pitch from Ailey Johnson, way upstairs again. You could almost see that one coming. The release point was late.
She's got to lower our eyes on that pitch. She's got to find something on the catcher that she can zone in on and just lower her eyes.
The 1-2. Ground ball, left side. Pleasance comes up firing. Gutierrez is waiting. And the damage is minimized. Georgia does pick up a run on a walk, a stolen base on a wild pitch. But we go to the bottom of the first inning. LSU against Madison Kerpix, who was in the circle on Friday and pitched very well.
Pitched very well, as you see.
Kerpix is 17-5 on the year with a 2.19 ERA, 128 innings. She has struck out almost a batter per inning. She has walked 51. She's got a good changeup and will also mix in the rise ball.
Spinning, but she's really good when she can mix in and throw batters off balance. She throws that rise ball on different levels, I mean low rise and rise out of the zone, but the trick is it's got to move through the zone.
2 strikes on Danica Coffey, who is a very difficult batter to fan. She has walked more than she has struck out. Georgia has this year scored in the first inning 16 times, including this game. And they are 15-1 when they score in the first inning. One ball, 2 strikes.
As you mentioned, Coffey, a tough out. Does so many things well with that bat.
Briggs and Pleasance will follow. Kerpix on Friday night went 6 2/3 innings. She allowed 8 hits, but only 1 run. She made big pitches when she absolutely had to, and she did not walk anybody. She only struck out 3, but she basically controlled LSU's lineup.
She's had some very good pitch outings in this series.
The 2-2. Beat into the ground foul. Coffey is one of those players who is very comfortable at the plate. Rarely gets rattled, rarely gets fooled on the same pitch twice in a row, and makes you feel the ball most of the time.
And can run like the wind.
The 2-2 pitch again. That's elevated.
And this is not a base runner that Kerpix wants to walk. Such a threat to steal.
She is, but the Tigers don't run all that often.
And Georgia's done a very good job of kind of stopping the running game.
Here's the 3-2 pitch to the LSU leadoff batter. Coffey is on her way to first base. You know that sometimes you are walked and sometimes you earn a walk. And Coffey earned that base on balls.
And both pitchers open up this game with walks to the leadoff hitters.
Kerpix now has walked 52 in 128 innings, so that's somewhat of an excessive number.
So we know that Georgia, no matter what they do here, cannot
they can't
affect their standings.
They're going to finish in second place. They can't move to first, nor can they fall out of second.
I don't know if that was a missed signal, because Briggs looked back and that swing didn't look right. I'm thinking Coffey was supposed to go in Briggs's mind, like the protect swing.
Briggs was 0 for 3 in the first game. Sierra is hitting .351. LSU's season SEC ranks offensively, 2nd in the league in base hits, 3rd in batting average. Tied for 4th in walks, 4th in on-base percentage, and 5th in RBI. That was entering today's play.
You'd think with those offensive stats, they'd be like 1 or 2 in the league.
Ground ball left side out at second, and there will be no chance to double up Briggs. But that middle infield of Ellie Armistead at shortstop and Sydney Kuma at second base has been just so slick, so perfect this weekend.
That's a can of corn if you can say that for an infielder when it's hit to her.
Taylor Pleasance at the plate with Briggs at first base. Briggs has stolen 10 bases. And a strike to the LSU shortstop. Briggs is 10 out of 15. Most of the 8 home runs produced by Pleasance came early in the season before her injury.
Before her injury. She hasn't had one since, right? Since she came back to swinging full.
This will carry out to the left fielder, and Jaden Goodwin comes on and makes the catch. Jaden Goodwin's grandfather is the legendary Northwestern State University football coach Sam Goodwin, who had a tremendous career in high school in Arkansas and at Northwestern State.
The Demons, I remember that.
Yep. Sam Goodwin is here today. He still lives in Natchitoches. And her dad, Jay, is a horse breeder in Kentucky.
Wow. Wonder if he had any horses running in the Derby.
I think there was some connection, but I'm not sure exactly
Right.
what it was. Now, he's not an owner of that horse, but I think there may have been some connection.
Crazy about those horses, though, dying there this week.
The 1-0 pitch to Georgia Clark. That rips the outside part of the zone for a strike. The 1-1. A little bit of a late swing by Georgia Clark, and that's not something that's common for her.
Let's see if Briggs goes with 2 outs. Sure has some pretty fingernails for a Gold Glove winner.
She's on the move, and the peg down is in time, it appears.
Obstruction.
The ball came loose.
But he called obstruction. So she was going to be safe.
Boy, that's a difficult decision to make against the second baseman, who has the right to go get the ball.
Yeah, but you've got to allow that base path to... You see his arm out?
He did call obstruction immediately. And the ball came loose anyway, so a stolen base for Briggs.
I think that's a tough call for Blue.
It is. Essentially, the intent of the rule is to
prevent injuries.
Make that, and by the way you do that, the rule reads that the receiver of the ball cannot be in the base path or cannot block the path to the base without the ball. But you do have the right to go get it. The 3-2 pitch. Belted very high. Let's see if it's got enough carry. Way back, and it's up into the bleachers. You can pucker up and kiss that baby goodbye. Georgia Clark on senior day hits her 12th home run of the year, and the soon-to-be MBA graduate from LSU has reclaimed the lead for the Tigers. It's a 2-1 game on a towering home run into the left field bleachers by Georgia Clark.
That's Clark's 3rd hit of the day, isn't it? And this one towering, and she gives that extra little fall back into her teammates at the plate. Look at that, she knows it.
Kerpix has allowed 6 home runs this season in 128 innings. And Georgia Clark, with her parents in attendance on senior day, hits her 42nd career home run in an LSU uniform.
She's having a super senior day. She's had a great day so far. Kilponen just pitched lights out in the last inning.
Allie Newland had 3 base hits on Friday. And 1 in the first game.
Got her just by a step.
Very well done by the catcher, Marissa Miller. Marissa Miller popped out on that ball like a rat on a Cheeto. And he's a believer in the walk and talk philosophy with his team. And he'll gather his whole team and they'll go off for a 10 or 15 or 20-minute walk. And he's talking softball and everybody's chiming in. And it's kind of a unique thing he's got going at Georgia.
Get them away from their phones, and imagine that.
I saw a statistic not long ago that absolutely blew my mind, but when I started thinking about it, you know, it may be true, and that is the average high school senior checks his or her phone once every 17 seconds.
I believe it.
Goodwin pokes this one out to right field. It's off the base of the wall. She's on her way to second base, and she slides in with a 2-bagger.
Making her grandpa happy in the stands.
Sam Goodwin very happy after her 7th double of the year.
First baseman number 3, Jaden Fields.
So this is now Jaden Fields' turn. Georgia already has had 3 base runners.
You know, Tony Baldwin said he thinks Jaden Goodwin can be a superstar. High praise from your coach.
Very much so. Savannah Stewart is under this one, and there's the first out. Dallas Goodnight walked for Georgia in the first inning to open the game. Swiped second and eventually scored on a wild pitch. There was only 1 hit in that frame, but a couple of wild pitches. Goodwin has doubled off the bottom of the right center field wall. Fields has flied to left. And here's Marissa Miller, a freshman from Sewanee, Georgia. Miller making her first start behind the dish in this series. This is her 22nd start of the season.
Finding the zone with that changeup now is Ailey Johnson.
Miller has a couple of home runs, 12 driven in, and a .263 average.
Only hitter below 300 in this lineup. Ball gets away from Newland. Tough ball to handle in the dirt. Newland is earning her money behind there. It's a tough ball. That's a screwball that just didn't even have a chance.
That's a wild pitch.
She catches that. That will score a run.
The runner from third tags.
She got a gun.
Here's the throw.
She's got a gun.
Out at the plate on a tremendous throw from foul ground by Mackenzie Rudity.
He's going to challenge it.
Mackenzie Rudity crossing over into foul ground, set up for the throw.
Rudity.
And unleashed a laser into the glove of Allie Newland.
I said it immediately. She's got a gun.
So this play will be reviewed. And we'll take a couple more looks at it to help you out at home. But Mackenzie Rudity in foul ground was well aware that the tag was coming. She just unleashes on one hop.
Can't see.
The out is upheld. So Georgia comes close to scoring, but Rudity guns down a Bulldog at the plate. We go to the bottom of the second. It's 2-1. Who just made one heck of a throw from foul ground in right field to cut a runner down at the plate. Will bat first for LSU. She'll be followed by Petty and Gutierrez.
And we knew Rudity could make that play, but that ball was just at the right, probably depth distance to make that play. Probably 2 or 3 feet longer, deeper.
1 ball, 1 strike to Rudity.
But we have seen some defensive gems in this series. Oh my.
Both teams have turned in several, and they've been way above what you could reasonably expect.
Got to make some highlight reels this weekend, ESPN. Let's go. Pick it up.
Rudity for the tournament is 3 for 5, and she's driven in 3 runs. Plus saved a run with that throw to the plate. It's a hitter's count at 3-1, and Rudity draws a base on balls.
Now batting, second baseman number 14, Carly Petty.
Let's see if Carly Petty is called upon to bunt. She's had a hard time making contact with Georgia pitches in this series.
Just gotten a steady stream of screwballs on the outside corner that she's having a lot of trouble with.
0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts.
And we hadn't seen that all year long.
She's been one of the steadier offensive performers for the Tigers, very level at above 300 the entire year.
Her true worth has been at second base, though, where she has turned in a stellar performance defensively. Now, she made a little adjustment there. She'd been swinging it at that pitch.
Madison Kerpix yielded a home run to Georgia Clark with Briggs aboard in the first. – 2-0, or I should say 2-1. With the win today, one of these teams would reach the 40-win mark during the regular season. There's something psychological about that, isn't there?
It's a really good stat to have. Brag about 10 40-win games in a row.
3-1 to Petty. Kerpix brings it to the LSU second baseman. Popped up, foul, out of play. 5-time College World Series coach and a college softball Hall of Famer, Yvette Girard and Lynn Rollins, with you this afternoon. This is the final game of the regular season for everybody across the land, virtually. The SEC tournament will be played next week in Fayetteville. Petty is called out on strikes. Kerpik's got the inside part of the plate.
Good pitch here. Inside pitch that just freezes Petty.
And she's very much a legitimate strike.
She's been given so many outside pitches that she forgot what that inside one looked like.
Here's Raylene Gutierrez. It's elevated to the LSU first baseman. Savannah Stewart is on deck. Gutierrez in the series is 0 for 4. One ball, one strike. Rudity at first base after drawing a walk to open the inning. Petty struck out. 2-1 Tigers on a home run by Georgia Clark in the first inning. The 1-1. Skied to center field. And the catch made by Goodnight for out number 2. Here's Stewart at the bottom of the order.
Kerpik's so far rebounding from that leadoff walk.
Stewart started the first game in left field. She had 3 at-bats and did not get a base hit. She did not play in the first game today. And there's ball 1. We have so enjoyed being mic side with you throughout this season. It started in mid-February. We work our way toward mid-May, and postseason will soon be upon us.
For everybody starting next week. Conference tournament starting everywhere.
Stewart running up on that one and waving through it. But Yvette, it just seems like that bitter cold mid-February start seems like almost yesterday, doesn't it?
It does, and they play so many games so quick that it just flies after that. You know, we play 6 games in a weekend at the opening weekend.
Stewart bunts it, and it's grabbed by Miller, and she guns it over to first base for the out. So Savannah Stewart fails to get on base with that bunt attempt, and we move on to the third. LS shouts in the same number of innings, only 3 walks. And the big right-hander delivers, and Armistead tries to bunt her way aboard and fouls it back.
Serena expected her to throw a little bit more this year, and she has. That she's improved.
What Casanova has inherited is the 3rd inning for Georgia, and that's been the most productive offensive inning the entire year for the Bulldogs. They've scored 69 runs in the combined 3rd innings this year, and that's the highest total of any inning for Georgia offensively. By the way, the 4th inning is the 2nd highest with 60. The 1-1 pitch coming from Emily Casanova.
Got that big, long windup.
The 2-1 to Armistead. Fouled away.
All-American scholar. 3 sisters, they all start with E's.
With that long lineup or warm-up toss to the plate, the windup, it's a little deceiving because the ball gets there in a hurry. It's got sort of an action to it that is a little bit more difficult to pick up than a standard windup.
Yeah, it's long and it's slow.
And then all of a sudden, it's ripped. Armistead was induced into swinging at a pitch in the dirt.
Good job by Newland to pick that ball.
So Johnson, who started, went 2 innings. She walked the first batter she faced, and that was costly because Goodnight came around to score on a wild pitch. She allowed 2 base hits. Did not strike out a batter, but leaves after a couple of innings with a 2-1 lead. Dallas Goodnight at the top of the order walked and scored in the first.
We might see the staff from LSU in this game.
Georgia is locked into second place behind Tennessee in the SEC. So Georgia will be the 2nd seed. Tennessee will be the 1st seed. Those 2 teams will have a bye in the first round of the SEC championship tournament. Coffee is there to snare the liner.
Casanova doing her job so far.
Emily Casanova.
Third base is number 33, Sarah Mosley.
Is the tallest player on the LSU roster at 6'2", out of Amite, Louisiana.
I think the city of Amite might be here because she's getting some huge applauses. Home of the governor, right?
I think so.
John Bell Edwards.
The 0-1 pitch. Off the mark.
Drop ball.
That levels the count to Mosley. Mosley was 1 for 6 in the first 2 games. She's had a base hit today. 2 for 7 is Mosley for this series. 1-1 pitch.
Tomahawk that ball.
It's in foul ground. Coffee is calling for it, and she runs away from the infield.
Yeah.
Here's Danica Coffee, the leadoff hitter for the Tigers. LSU's baseball team did not fare well today in Auburn. The Auburn Tigers run-ruled LSU 12-2 the final. So Auburn wins games 2 and 3 of that series, and for the first time this year, LSU does not, or absolutely fails to win a series. Now, they only played 2 games at South Carolina and split those, but this is the first time LSU has lost a baseball series. Auburn.
They might fly that eagle every game now.
Auburn took it to the Tigers today.
What's the Eagle's name?
Auburn has won a couple of series wins in a row now against LSU.
You didn't answer my question.
Well, I know one of them was named Nova and one of them was named Independence, and I don't know
what
this.
That's right.
I don't
There's
know what
3
this
of them.
one's. It's been about 4 or 5, I think.
I think the one that flew was Independence.
Your vast network of researchers, I'm sure, are going to come up with the answer, so stay close to your phone.
Got a lot of people helping me, including the producer.
The name of the current official Eagle at Auburn is what?
Okay,
that's our question of the day.
It was the director.
There is a Southeast.
Somebody help me, because Lynn doesn't have Twitter, so you'll have to tell me.
Auburn is the home of a renowned Southeast United States Raptor Center.
Oh.
That's eagles and hawks and falcons and vultures and
didn't know that
owls.
Either. You got a lot of those in your backyard?
Got a lot of vultures in the backyard. I think they see me walking around, getting queued up. Coffee doesn't strike out much.
But she did then.
But she goes down on strikes in the 3rd inning.
Trying to chop that screwball down and kind of just missed it.
Here's Briggs. In my running days, and I used to do it every day, the only shade we would get would be from the flock of buzzards circling us, wanting to pick us off at the end of the run. And they had pretty good reason from visionary evidence.
Was that you at the back of the pack, or?
I wasn't a back of the pack, but I certainly wasn't at the front of the pack. We had several lurchers and people just trying to survive. We called it the survival shuffle.
Just like those geese, everybody taking a turn leading the pack.
But the
flock.
The only sunshine, the only shade we would get from the midday sun was from the 50 or 60 vultures circling us. I mean, you can kind of draw that in your mind's eye, right?
Oh, you've painted the picture. So now that you're a walker, they might have a better chance of picking you off.
Absolutely. I could get overcome by a glacier. LSU's Tigers scored 2 in the first on a home run by Georgia Clark to erase an early Georgia lead, and we stay 2-1 LSU.
Got a good ball game here.
Bottom of the third with Briggs at the plate, 1 gone. The winner wins the series. The 1-2 pitch, chopped to the right side, and the underhanded shovel by Kuma over to Fields is in time. Briggs is retired. Georgia pitching has handled Sierra Briggs very well in this series.
Yes, they have. You know, you're so used to Briggs being on base almost every time you look up.
Here's Taylor Pleasance. She flied to left field last time. Georgia won on Friday, 3-1. LSU, in a very tidy pitcher's duel, was a 2-1 victor in the first game today. These teams were to have played game 2 on Saturday, but torrential rain the entire day washed it out. Much better conditions today. The field is in good shape. And we are just a few innings away from the end of the regular season and the start of postseason championship play.
Probably could have gotten it ready tomorrow night, last night, but it would have been slip and slide in the outfield. Might have destroyed it for today. So wait for today and play 2.
One thing that has been constant is that wind blowing in from center field. It's been a factor the entire weekend.
It's a south wind.
That is in the hitters' faces. The 1-1 pitch coming to Pleasance with 2 outs. It's a little bit wide from Madison Kerpix. Kerpix making her second start in this series. She threw well in the first game. Didn't quite get the complete game, but was a batter away from it as Georgia won it 3-1 on Friday. The 2-1 pitch to Pleasance. That dips out of the zone.
Pleasance thought about it. It was pretty close.
Pleasance and the hitter next, Georgia Clark, are both very patient. They do not mind hitting with 2 strikes. The outfield is pretty deep and straight away. Pleasance takes that for a strike, and the count is full with 2 outs. We will get to some other SEC scores in just a moment. It's very likely that LSU and Georgia will be the final game in progress on this day. The 3-2 pitch. Upstairs, Pleasance earns a walk. So that keeps the inning extant for Georgia Clark. She had a 2-run home run in the first inning, a towering drive over the left field wall.
And she's had a very good series here for the Tigers in her senior day here.
Clark is 4 for 7 in the 3 games, including that home run. And a couple of RBI. Ball 1 wide.
It's a little new thing that the Tigers have done for home runs this year.
2-0 on Clark. with Allie Newland on deck. She's been the hottest LSU hitter in this series. Georgia Clark will soon conclude an MBA degree from LSU.
Last of the COVID seniors.
I spoke with her after the game
seniors
on Friday, and she indicated that she wanted to stay in the sports field but use her intellect and her knowledge of numbers and work out some sort of analytical process, even maybe develop something that hasn't yet been done.
Okay, Strohs, hire her. She's in your backyard. She's a Houston native.
Clark and Kilponen and Pleasance and Stewart and Petty and Carson all are LSU graduates.
You'll see the patch on their arm, which is really cool, SEC graduates.
The 2-2 pitch.
Another
lobbed
hit
into left field, and it drops for a base hit.
How about Georgia Clark? Everything she touches is kind of gold this weekend.
Clark is now 5 for 8 in the series. So the Tigers making some noise with 2 outs. A walk to Pleasance, a soft base hit by Clark, and now Newland. Allie is 4 for 7.
And she is the Tigers' best SEC hitter.
There are only 3 hitters in the league better than Newland against SEC pitching. A couple of doubles this weekend for Newland. Ball one wide from Kerpix.
Some of those stats sometimes are glaring and shocking when you see, an overall stat and then a conference stat, and you're like, ooh, they're not hitting that well in the conference.
Well, of all the great hitters in the SEC, and there are many of them, only 3 have been better than Allie Newland against SEC pitching this year. And to further illustrate the clutch nature of Newland's play at times, she's had 14 2-out RBI, and that's the best on the Tigers. She's hitting .356 with runners in scoring position.
Great stat there. Who can produce in prime time situation, an RBI situation? Timely hitting.
That's a name that always gets written in the lineup, doesn't it?
Yep. 10 hits don't do you any good unless you get one when there's runners that can be scored.
1-1 pitch is elevated. There are a million or more offensive statistics, but if I had to pick one that you might start with as most important, for me it would be RBI.
When I got to vote for All-American or conference or whatever, it's exactly the first stat I looked at.
The 2-1 pitch with 2 aboard. Lined into left center field. Pleasance rounds third. She will score. Clark is on her way to third. She's being waved home. Here's the relay throw. Not in time and off the mark. And Allie Newland delivers yet one more time and extends the LSU lead to 4-1.
How clutch is Newland? You take her out of left field, you catch her. I keep saying, she's my MVP.
That's her 9th double as she drives it between the outfielders. And Georgia Clark.
Look at how happy Clark is after chugging around the base path.
That may be the most she's run and won it back other than her own home runs. She scored from first base.
Yeah, because she gets She gets pinch run a lot.
Rudity lifts this one into left field, and Goodwin is there. But LSU's Tigers congratulate the clutch double. Shutdown and runs produced in the second and third games to this point. 1 run in the game preceding this one, and 1 run in the final game for Georgia.
Maybe credit LSU pitchers for coming up with big pitches in those situations.
But how about the surprise starter, A. Johnson? She went 2 innings, and Emily Casanova was very sharp, coming out of the bullpen in the third to open that frame. And Casanova has only pitched in 6 games this year.
And I got a sneaking suspicion that we're going to see the staff.
Carly Petty turns that into an out at second base. Jada Kearney is retired. Now there is some buzzing in the bullpen for the Tigers.
I can't really see. I thought I saw a blonde head. That would be Chafin if I did. Oh, look at here. I guess I can still see a little bit.
Is it time for LASIK?
I done that.
Is it time for a tune-up?
Too many surgeries on these eyes. But anyway, I've got the script glasses on, so maybe that's why.
Oh,
Script
that'll
sunglasses.
help.
But I could see that blonde head, and that's...
Raylan Chafin.
Yep, it wouldn't be Berzon, and it wouldn't be Kilponen, so the blonde that's left is Chafin.
Davis with a count of 1 strike hits it to the right side again. Carly Petty gets to it in a hurry, and there are swiftly 2 outs.
And that's why Petty plays.
Second baseman number 6, Sydney Kuma.
Ball 1 high to Sydney Kuma. She has grounded out to Taylor Pleasance. Kuma is going to finish the year at least in that 380 mark, maybe higher. That was one heck of a changeup.
Got everybody in the stands excited.
That was one whale of a pitch.
She pulled that out of her back pocket. Look at this thing. Beauty.
And it hardly had any rotation.
A little flip change.
No hump in it at all. But a wonderful pitch. There's
Back to
another
back.
one, and it's lined right back to the little-used Emily Casanova, who has thrown 2 perfect innings against the powerful pair in the first on a Clark home run, and a pair in the third on a Newland 2-run double. A 1-1 pitch to Carly Petty. This LSU pitching core has really done a job so far in this series on a very powerful Georgia offensive team. Only allowed 5 runs to this point over the course of the 3 games.
Giving up 2 home runs
Mm-hmm.
to a team that was hitting buku home runs.
Only 2 hits in this final game of the series so far for Georgia. Two balls, 2 strikes on LSU's second baseman Carly Petty. She is looking for her first base hit in the series. And the delivery on its way. Fouled off. Petty battling as best she can.
That's hard to believe, that stat line that you just said. Looking for her first base hit. She has been a steady, consistent performer for the Tigers, but struggling this weekend a little bit.
The 2-2 pitch is knocked foul past first.
She saw that change up all the way. Just a little bit early.
That one was elevated.
Yep, just a little bit early.
LSU fans, of course, have been very familiar with postseason play in this ballpark. Petty pops it up left side. foul ground, and the third baseman is there. Sarah Mosley takes care of that one.
You have to think LSU has a really good chance of hosting, especially since it's all about driving distance and putting people, you know, in a region that is drivable. So you already have the Cajuns down the road who have qualified. Then you have McNeese, who's won the Southern Conference. So you'd have 3 LSU teams that they'd only have to fly in another team here. And that is what they look at.
That is certainly a major issue and criteria, but I think the game has grown past that.
Yeah, maybe for baseball, but I see it way too much still in softball.
Well, again, my point is I don't think that's a valid argument.
I agree.
Gutierrez drops one into shallow right field. That's her first hit of this series.
Just enough to get that ball to that.
And Yvette, that makes her 1 for 6 with that soft fly ball single. Remember, the Tigers rallied for 2 runs with nobody out, or with 2 outs and nobody on base back in the 3rd inning when Pleasance and Clark walked. And then Newland drilled that clutch 2-run double to the wall in left center field. This brings on Savannah Stewart. Stewart ran up on it and then took a full swing. Coffey is on deck representing the top of the order. The 1-1 popped out of play over the roof.
And then you talked about buzzards. I think they've got one flying around in the outfield.
I'll take a look. Oh, yeah.
Waiting for you to start walking.
Probably waiting for me to limp to the car. There it is. Our camera people don't miss anything.
Look at him.
He's saying, I know you're there.
And he's saying there's a lot of food on the ground on that berm. All these humans need to leave so I can pick it up.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Savannah Stewart at the plate. Raylene Gutierrez at first base after a soft single to right field. This ball is headed to left field. Goodwin is out there to grab it. So 2 outs now for Danica Coffey, who's 0 for 1 in this game with a walk and a strikeout. And for the series, Coffey is 1 for 7. So Georgia pitching has done a really nice job on 2 of the best hitters in the LSU lineup in Coffey and Briggs, who are 1-2 in the order. And that combination of that, there aren't many 1-2 hitters in America who have combined for as many hits as Coffey and Briggs. So Georgia has done a wonderful job pitching to 2 of the best hitters early in the lineup.
But Newland and Clark have kind of taken up the slack a little bit.
Coffey hitting an even .400 right now.
Whoa, what a play.
Armistead goes to the top of the ladder, leaps and takes a base hit away from Danica Coffey. Well, meanwhile, the magical mystery tour continues for LSU's pitchers as Goodwin comes to the plate and slaps an opposite field base hit. And I say that because starter Ailey Johnson was relieved by little-used Emily Casanova, who has pitched very well. And Casanova,
and that might be it for her, though.
but she had thrown 2 perfect innings in relief
And here
before
comes
giving up
Chafin.
the base hit to Goodwin.
I think Chafin's coming in. I think I guessed right that it might be the staff pitching today.
But a really nice job by Georgia in a base hit by Goodwin. Here's Jaden Fields.
Chafin with the slow windup, and then bam, the ball gets there.
And Fields is able to find the grass in right field. They're not going to run on that arm.
No.
But back-to-back singles. Goodwin with a solid knock, and Fields with a little bloop to right.
She meets that pitch that's elevated and sends it to right field for a solid base hit.
Here's Marissa Miller, who fouled out to Rudity in the second inning, and Rudity turned it into a double play on the peg to the plate.
Perfect bunt by Miller. Does her job.
Gutierrez over to Petty for the out. But Georgia playing, even though it's down by 3, playing for perhaps a couple of runs here in the 5th. With this offense that's been so good by Georgia all season, I bet you can afford to bunt when you're 3 runs down.
Well, and it's the lowest batting average on the team.
Sure.
So good call there. I mean, a base hit here, and that's 2 runs.
Here's Armistead, who struck out in the 3rd. She did not face the starter Johnson. Armistead was the first batter that Casanova faced. Casanova had a 3-up, 3-down inning in the 3rd, a 3-up, 3-down inning in the 4th, and then was lifted in the 5th inning after Goodwin sent a solid single to the outfield.
I think that's all planned by Beth Torina, knowing in her mind how many innings she was going to go, and then when she gave up the base hit, it was time. They'd seen her enough.
Georgia has scored only 5 runs total in this series after averaging nearly 6.5 runs per game over the course of the season. Chafin finds the inside edge. When you can leave a scar on the plate right there, that's a really good pitch. It's almost unhittable. You can send it somewhere, but not with a lot of authority.
Send it foul most of the times.
Mm-hmm.
Base hit here, though, makes this game very interesting.
Yes, it does. The 2-1 pitch. That's a strike in the lower part of the zone.
All these windups are a little different. Here comes Chafin with this slow delivery, and then bang, the ball just kind of gets there.
Two balls, 2 strikes. A big pitch coming. The make it happen pitch. Swing and a miss. Now there are 2 outs. And the crowd goes wild here over the late season throwing of the T-shirts.
Oh, yeah, they got to get rid of them now. They're unloading. Glenn, did you get you a T-shirt? Because they're unloading them now.
They are. This is quite the volume.
He's having a good time up there, although he says he gets fussed at a lot. Where's my shirt, dude? Where's my shirt?
Right, well.
But you know, it's Mardi Gras. It's a Mardi
It
Gras
is.
state. Everybody's supposed to catch something.
Throw me something, mister.
But you'd swear those T-shirts are worth money. Gold.
The 1-0 to Goodnight. Now it's 2-0. 2 outs. 2 Bulldogs in scoring position.
Can Chafin get herself out of this little mini jam here?
Goodnight has walked and scored. She also has lined out to Coffee. This is a very good hitter at the top of the order, but is 0 for 6 in this series. Georgia pitchers have really done well against the first 2 hitters in the LSU lineup over the course of these 3 games. Likewise, LSU pitching has shut out Goodnight at the plate as the leadoff hitter.
She's 1 for 7 with runners in scoring position.
That's a check swing strike. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Chafin has made some pretty pitches here.
The make it happen pitch coming at the 2-2 count.
And she's got the crowd excited.
Can Chafin cast ice on the rally? The pitch. Lobbed foul off the handle of the bat. 4-1 Tigers. Georgia went out in front in the first inning on a walk and later a wild pitch. The Tigers got 2 in the first on a Georgia Clark home run and 2 in the fifth on a base hit by Rudity. The 2-2 pitch.
Nope.
Just a little off the edge, and Chafin was hopping up and down like she was on a pogo stick.
She did miss on this pitch. Not by much, though.
The bunny hop after the miss. Now the 3-2 pitch. First base is unoccupied. A ground ball. Backhand play. Yes! Taylor Pleasance turned a very difficult play into an easy out at first base. That'll go down as a routine 6-3 putout, but it was anything but routine on the backhand side. And Skins are terrific here. 4-1 LSU. We play in the bottom of the fifth. Briggs takes a pretty good hack and fouls it away. One ball, one strike. Each team has 4 hits, but the Tigers have a 2-run home run from Clark and a 2-run double from Rudity. This ball finds the grass and is bobbled for a moment. And Briggs, who never hesitates, is on her way to second base.
And never satisfied with just getting 2. She was getting up and trying to throw a throw to second base. That motor never stops on that girl.
That's going to be a single by Briggs and an error on the left fielder on the bobble. Here's Pleasance with an RBI opportunity. Ball 1 to the LSU shortstop. Pleasance hits it towering to left field, and it is out of the reach of Goodwin, who got spun around. Briggs will score easily. Taylor Pleasance stops at second base, and the Tigers extend their lead. It's now 5-1. Goodwin never really was able to find that ball and draw a bead on it with surety, and finally it just drifted out of her reach.
As good as Newland played that ball earlier, Goodwin just has a hard time judging what that ball's going to do, and then it bounces. And the last 2 at bats for batters for Goodwin have been nightmares for her. That's probably the hardest hit ball we've seen from Pleasance since she came back from the injury.
And we will have a pitching change timeout as Georgia goes to the bullpen for the first time. Madison, the base hit, moved up to second on an error.
She's got
and then scored on the double by Pleasance. That was twisting away from the left fielder, Jaden Goodwin.
She's got to throw to the hottest Tiger in this series, Georgia Clark.
Clark has a 2-run home run and a walk. She has scored 2 times. And the pitch. There for a strike.
took something off of that pitch because Clark was way ahead of her.
That one bends in for a strike, and Clark watched it go right down Main Street.
She'd probably like to have that pitch back. Must have been guessing.
That's the first time she's been retired tonight. Kerpix, in 4 innings, gave up 4 runs. She walked 3, struck out a couple, and gave up 6 base hits.
Here's a tough out, though.
The 1-0 to Newland. Allie had a 2-run double in the 3rd and was thrown out. Catcher to second baseman in the 1st. Newland has had at least 1 base hit in every game, including 3 on Friday night. She and Clark have pretty much carried the load to be the most consistent in this series against Georgia.
Pitching her very carefully. Maybe that's why she's 3-1 now. Oh, come back, Allie.
Georgia scored only 1 run in the preceding game and has scored only 1 run in the final game. LSU leads it by 4. That's a late season souvenir as it flies over the left field of the foul line bleachers.
Ooh, and they're running for it because you're right, they get to keep it. It's a mad dash.
This is stroked up the middle for a base hit. Taylor Pleasance will put on the brakes. Pleasance had full intention of trying to score, but Beth Torina wisely pumped the brakes as that throw came in quickly from the outfield.
Yeah, it was a good play by Goodnight, and she would have had a really good shot at getting Pleasance.
So Newland now has 6 base hits in the series.
And look, she took that ball off the plate, went back up the middle with it. She having a hard time getting her out. Using the whole field.
Here's Rudity. She's had a big base hit. Or I beg your pardon. Let's see what they've called here. 1-0. Rudity waiting. Takes a cut at it. This will be Goodwin chasing it, but she's unable to get to it. Rudity has walked and flied out. The 1-1 with 1 out. Runners on the corners. Briggs is on the move, and that peg is cut off by the second baseman. Briggs has the stolen base. Rudity has a chance to pick up a couple of teammates. The 2-1 pitch. Lined deep to left field. This ball is carrying. It's down off the warning track. 2 more Tigers score. Rudity comes through.
How about this barrage of hitting from the Tigers with runners in scoring position?
That is her 10th double of the year. She drives in Pleasance and Newland.
Staying long on that outside pitch. That are trying to pull it.
Rudity had a couple of RBIs on a similar hit in the first game today. And Carly Petty is scheduled to be the hitter. We'll see if she indeed comes out. Looks like we're going to have a pinch hitter for Carly. Well, the Tigers now with a 7-1 lead. We will check some SEC scores for you as we move on to the top of the inning. Michaela Walker is the hitter for Petty.
Freshman that came in during this semester.
She is a Georgian from Marietta.
Should be a senior in high school, graduating with her class.
She's only had 12 at-bats this year. Let's see what she can do. She's 2 for 12.
Boy, she's a Georgian. You know she wants to get a hit here.
She's driven in 2 runs this year. Well, if Michaela Walker could find her first collegiate home run right here, the game would be over.
Good changeup. Crowd moans and groans, but that's a great pitch. Although Walker kind of laughed herself.
The 1-2 is tight. Auburn has shut out Mississippi State 3-0. That's a final. South Carolina 4-2 over Tennessee. That's a final. Kentucky beat Florida 1-0 and won that series 2-1. Alabama and Ole Miss. That match is over. Ole Miss has nipped Alabama and wins it by a score of 5-4. Alabama won the series 2-1.
I think there must have been some dramatic happenings in the last inning.
And the only other game still in progress is in the 6th inning. Arkansas at Missouri. It's tied 6-6 in the 6th. The winner of the game wins the series.
I miss the old East and West divisions.
The 3-2 pitch, chopped up the middle. That's going to find center field. The throw coming to the plate, and it's out of the glove of the catcher, Miller. Walker with an RBI single, and she winds up at second base on the throw through.
Hitting is so contagious. Everybody wants a chance at the bat when this happens.
Now the Tigers are just 1 run away from ending this game early with the 8-run rule. And Gutierrez is 1 for 2. We'll try to make it happen.
This is a dramatic, different turn of events, isn't it?
It really is, but not only has the offense come alive here for LSU, LSU's pitching has throttled a tremendously good Georgia offensive team in the whole series.
Well,
right
yes.
now, this team has only scored 5 runs in 3 games.
Yes,
Georgia.
you can't take that away from the circle, but I think one of the bigger keys for me is that the Tigers are getting hits with runners in scoring position.
Here's a liner foul. That would have ended the game had it been in the grass on the other side of the strike.
But you're right, the circle has stymied a very good Georgia Bulldog offense.
This ball is lifted into left center field, and the center fielder on the run makes a galloping catch. Gutierrez flies out to good night. And now Savannah Stewart comes to the plate in what most likely will be her final at bat as a Tiger during the regular season. Ball one.
Senior weekend, and the seniors have had some great outings for the Tigers here during this weekend.
That's a strike. That levels the count.
And if Stewart got a base hit here and the run score, what an ending that would be for those three seniors.
The outfield plays her to the opposite side. That is a foul ball, and it literally went through the wickets of the umpire. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Grounded up the middle. And the play is correct at first base from Kuma to Fields. Stewart rolls out 4-3, but LSU adds 4 to its total. We go to for Georgia. She'll be followed by Jada Kearney and Lindy Ray Davis. Gilio has gone to left field, replacing Stewart. So Madeline Gilio is now the left fielder. Mosley has a base hit today, hitting .340, and she is very capable of driving a ball over the fence. 16 times she's done it this year.
Well, the Tigers needed to keep the ball in the ballpark during this series, and for the most part, they've done that.
We are seeing Raylan Chafin in the circle for the first time in this series, as we did Casanova. That's a fair ball as it crosses over into foul territory, and Mosley is held to a single as Gilio gets to it in a hurry. But Sarah Mosley, just really one of the best hitters in the league.
She just powered that ball into left field.
In case you joined us late, there was a surprise starter for the Tigers, and Ailey Johnson. She went 2 innings. Emily Casanova, a surprise reliever, went 2 thrifty innings, and now it's Raylan Chafin. Allie Kilponen was special in the first game today in that 2-1 victory. Hot shot left side, that's through for a base hit. Kearney follows the base hit by Mosley with one of her own. So back-to-back Bengals by the Bulldogs.
Base hit all the way through the 5-6 hole. Georgia's got a little something cooking, but down by 7 runs, so I don't think you're going to see any bunting going on here.
Davis has popped up to second base and rolled out to second base. The dangerous Sydney Kuma is next. Chafin paints the inside corner.
Got to do a quick shout out right now to Mrs. Deanna Habits. I know she's watching in the hospital in Lafayette. I want her to get better quick, and that we're thinking about her. And yes, she is the mother of Allison Habits.
Let's see who's going to call for it. It will be center fielder Briggs for the first out. Now Sydney Kuma. She has grounded out to Pleasance and lined out to Gutierrez. Kuma bounces it down to Pleasance. There's an out at second and no relay. Petty made a wise choice to put it in her pocket. There wasn't much chance to double up Kuma, and instead of risking a throwaway or some other problem, and she decided to just hold on.
Shows the experience of Petty, a fifth-year senior.
I thought for a moment Pleasance might go to third base,
yeah, but
to get the force.
I think she thought she had a double play, so that's why she rolled it.
There's Jaden Goodwin.
I mean, you don't see this too much in softball. In baseball, that's automatic. You'd go for the double play. In softball, you usually go for the lead force out. But with a player like Pleasant, there's probably not a play she thinks they can't make, because she makes most of them.
Mosley at third, Kuma at first with the fielder's choice. Goodwin has doubled and singled. She's had a good day.
Got her.
And she's hit by a pitch. That looked like it got her in the ribs or the chest.
It did. Right underneath her arm, in the ribs. Luckily, she's laughing. But there's nothing soft about this game, and that ball's not soft.
And nothing funny about getting hit in the ribs. Ooh.
There's no gear there to support and protect them.
Well, there are 2 outs, but there's a runner at every base. How many Grand Slam home runs has Georgia hit this year? The answer is 4 by 3 different players. Kuma has done it twice. Davis and Kearney have done it once. Jaden Fields is at the plate. Fields singled last time and has flied to left.
Got her with the changeup.
Giglio waiting for it to come down. She's got it, and that retires the side. So Chafin makes a... And Georgia had one in 2003 as well. But those are the only 2 Georgia has ever won.
Tough league.
Arkansas did it last year. Tennessee, of course, has been dominant in that. We've seen Alabama and Florida. Coffey is up for probably the last time in the regular season. And I think she needs a base hit to maintain that 400 average. Let's see if she gets it. Out on a very, very close play, and LSU will immediately challenge it, I think. This one will be reviewed.
I don't think it's that close, huh? Yeah, she's out. But you got him. Might as well use him. Should be quick.
The folks in the concession stand who work off commission will be happy with this. And she is quickly ruled out. Here's Briggs with an 8-1 LSU lead. We play in the 6th.
course, if LSU scores a run here, it's all over with. I don't even have to play the 7th inning, but there is one out.
Unless it's a grand slam opportunity, Briggs does not hit home runs. She saves her home run swings for grand slams.
Right.
Both of her homers this year have been with 3 people aboard. The Tigers will be on their way to Fayetteville, Arkansas in a few days.
Talked to Tony Baldwin at length yesterday. I asked him about Lou Harris, if she ever came to the longtime, very successful coach at Georgia. And I keep up with her on Facebook. She's like went to Vietnam on like a 17-day trip. Pretty cool. Pretty cool what us old girls get to do once we
Well, you're now a world traveler as well.
Yeah, we get to see the world outside of our shorts now, outside of our coaching attire.
Briggs rips one the other way. That's her 2nd hit of the game.
Good piece of hitting here from Briggs. And
well, Yvette, we've got some news from a soon-to-be SEC member. Oklahoma won for the 41st consecutive time today.
Ho-hum.
It's the 2nd longest winning streak in the history of college softball.
Hattie Gasso, she has built a monster. And I can get to say I knew her win. She was the Long Beach Junior City College coach when I first met her. She called me one night and said, Oklahoma's offered me the job. Do you think I should take it?
You gave her the right advice.
Oh my gosh, she has built that thing into an incredible program.
41 straight wins.
And about to get a brand new stadium that is very deserved and overdue.
So she's got right now the 2nd longest college softball winning streak in the history of the game. As good as the SEC has been and is, it's time to gear it up one more notch when Texas and Oklahoma come into the league.
Fans will be treated to you gotta say it's the best.
Pleasance bangs one up the middle on a couple of hops. Briggs is on her way to 3rd. LSU inches closer to perhaps ending this game.
And guess who's up? His senior day herself, Georgia Clark.
Pleasance has 2 base hits and a walk and an RBI and a run scored. Georgia Clark has a chance to win it for LSU in 6 innings.
And have a pinch runner for Pleasance.
Big runner for the Tigers. Now at first base, number 3, Maya Townsend. Townsend, the new runner for the Tigers.
Maya Townsend is the new runner.
Stepping up to the plate, designated player number 25, senior Georgia Clark.
This could be Clark's last at bat in the regular season on this field. The pitch lobbed down into foul ground. Nobody can get to it.
I think she's going to swing at this bat. I don't think she's going to go down with the bat on her shoulders. What do you think?
Well, they've thrown her a lot of change-ups, haven't they? But you're right. She certainly is aware of what she can do right here. Kylie Macy to Georgia Clark. That's a ball, a little low and away. We've got a final now. Missouri has defeated Arkansas 7-6 and wins the series.
I tell you, this league, any given weekend, people can get upset.
So everything is over with the exception of this game, and it could be over if Clark can deliver an RBI. The pitch. Banged it to the third baseman. They've got to play at the plate. Briggs is in a rundown and tagged out. Both of LSU's other base runners advance.
For a second, home plate was unoccupied. I don't know if she could have made it. She was kind of going on contact here.
It would have been interesting if Briggs would have taken kind of a secondary lead after the contact and then broken for home after the throw to first.
Yeah, that might have been a better play.
But she was leaving the bag on contact, and where it was hit to the third baseman, there wasn't much choice.
But you still got to get Allie Newland out. We almost had a wild pitch there.
Newland has doubled and driven in a couple of runs. She has singled, she has scored.
What just happened? One of the Georgia coaches just came out of the dugout, flew out of the dugout in the middle of that pitch. And Beth Serena's looking over there like, what's going on?
The 1-0 to Newland. That's off the mark. Newland has been the best Tiger at the plate in this series.
Yeah, I wonder if they're kind of intentionally, not intentionally walking her.
Rudity is on deck. And Rudity has had a couple of clutch base hits in both games. 3-0 on Allie Newland. She bangs it through the left side. This game is over. Allie Newland was turned loose on a 3-0 pitch and rips it the other way. And the LSU Tigers score plenty in this game and hold Georgia to just one run. And
whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every second of my life with you. I don't know if some kind of a magical if agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. Whenever I look into your eyes, I find less peace and love for me. You are everything that I have ever wanted. I want to spend every second of my life with you. I don't know if some kind of a magical if agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. I don't know if some kind of a magical if agreeing with you. So the joy effect that I have turned us away. So did the effect on your smile on me in my life. Baby, you are and will remain mine forever and ever. I never want to leave you at any cost. I have given all my efforts to be with you. I pray that you stay by my side and keep my promises. You are the best part of my life. You will fill my life with so much love and heart with internal happiness. Imagining my life without you seems impossible now. I'm fortunate that I have for you. I never want to leave you at any cost. I have given all my efforts to be with you. I pray that you stay by my side and keep my promises. You are the best part of my life.